So today for the Mastermind Group webinar for 7 Skills Mastermind Groups, we're going to talk about the philosophy and background of Mastermind Groups, kind of where some of that comes from, some of the background there, and then talk about books that we read, how that can help us learn and grow, and especially when we discuss those books with each other and some of the books that we studied in the Mastermind Groups over the last year or two. So we'll talk about that. So to start off, talking about mastermind groups and the base of the philosophy of mastermind groups, it's a pretty old concept business-wise that has been around for hundreds of years. And I'm not going to dive into the deep history of it, but there are resources to do that if you're interested in it. But to go back to the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he talks about the mastermind group, and the power of the mastermind is one of the chapters of his book. He defines it as the mastermind may be defined as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. So I think that's a key thing to keep in mind when we're engaging in mastermind groups is what's the purpose? What are we trying to accomplish in those groups? And with the 7 Skills Mastermind groups, we're really focused on developing a specific skill or a set of skills. So I have one group, the professional development group, that we really touch on all 7 skills. And then I have other specific groups that are specific to one skill. So we really focus on develop, discuss, make commitments around that skill. Something else that I wanted to share with you, in Jack Canfield's book, some of you may be familiar with this, The Success Principles. He talks about the mastermind, and he does refer back to Napoleon Hill. He says, it's an old idea that's new again. Napoleon Hill first wrote about mastermind groups in 1937 in his classic book, Think and Grow Rich. And all the world's richest industrialists from the early 20th century to today's modern icons of business have harnessed the power of the mastermind group. It's the one concept achievers reference most when they credit any one thing with helping them become a millionaire. Andrew Carnegie had a mastermind group. So did Henry Ford. In fact, Ford would mastermind with brilliant thinkers such as Edison and Harvey Firestone in a group they held in their winter mansions in Fort Myers, Florida. And they knew, as millions of others have discovered since, that a mastermind group can focus special energy on your efforts in the form of knowledge, new ideas, a vast array of resources, and most importantly, spiritual energy. And it's this spiritual aspect that Napoleon Hill wrote about extensively. He said that if we are in tune with the mastermind, that is God, we have significantly more positive energy available to us, a power that can be focused on our success. Even the Bible talks about this. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18, verse 20. Another Bible verse about that Dave Ramsey likes to quote a lot, Proverbs 24:6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war. In a multitude of counselors there is safety. Mastermind, therefore, is both the power that comes to us from each other and the power that comes to us from above. So I really like that concept, that principle, to pull together what a mastermind group is and what we can get out of it. And as a result of that, we have things that we study together, books that we read to focus on the specific skills or purpose that are the reason for us meeting in the Landman Professional Development Mastermind group over the last year. In 2021, we had a book that we studied every month, and then reached out to the authors of those books, invited them to come and participate with us. And that was definitely a powerful part of those mastermind groups, is having those authors come and visit with us after we'd spent the month studying their book. So some examples there of books that we read. Along the lines of faith, we studied a book called Hand Me Another Brick by Charles Swindoll. Talks about the book of Nehemiah from the Bible and the leadership principles that are taught in that. For young professionals, we studied a book called Stand Out by Nathan Magnuson. Really focuses on young professionals and professional development. We studied Business Owner Freedom by Gregory Gray. Just a phenomenal book about business, culture, structure, project management, and how you put all those things in place. Gregory is a business consultant and was a plant manager for a manufacturing plant for automobiles, and was a plant turnaround specialist. So he'd move from plant to plant, go in and see what was going on, what needed fixed, and turn it around, make it profitable. Dan Miller came and talked with us about the 48 Days to the Work You Love. Great book, and he has a great community, the Eagles community, that is really geared around entrepreneurs, business building and development. So lots of great resources, opportunities to connect, to engage with authors and ask questions about the things that we've read in their books. And those are really the core of what we do in the mastermind groups, is have things that we're studying together. We can make commitments along the things that we're learning, how we're going to apply them, follow up with each other on those commitments, and then come back together and continue to learn and grow in the safe community where we can have those conversations. Sometimes people ask questions that are a little more vulnerable. That's a concept that there's a trend toward being vulnerable that in some ways is really good, to open up, to have people where you have that safe space and you hold space for each other. And that's definitely part of the climate of the mastermind groups. Is it's a safe place where you can bring challenges you're facing and struggles and not need to worry about that. In the mastermind groups, we don't record the sessions, so you can ask questions, you can share struggles, and with the confidence that that's not going to go beyond that specific group. So when people participate in the groups, certainly the value and results that you get from participating in the group, we encourage people to share that, because it lets people know the benefit they're getting from participating in the group. And it's a way that we can grow and learn. So to know that, hey, somebody was having a struggle, they brought it to the mastermind group, got some insight, some reflection from other people, some questions from each other to kind of unpack that, make some decisions about how to take action moving forward, is certainly a power in the mastermind group. So with all of that, we have Mark on with us. And Mark, do you have any questions or comments about mastermind groups that you'd like to ask or share that might help other people who are considering engaging with mastermind groups?
Yeah, Ryan, I haven't read any of those books that you mentioned, but certainly familiar with the book of Nehemiah and building a wall. And I think that concept is phenomenal, that you do surround yourself with the people that can help you get that job done. And certainly in your negotiations mastermind, we've got guys in there that can build us up, and our comments build them up, and we share some common ground, but at the same time, each has its own struggle, and just being able to share that is really, like you said, a safe place. And you know, my background of athletics, you know, I know you know this, but I trained gymnastics for about 16 years. And our coaches would put us in situations where we would do these little master clinics. And it's one skill only. And you get the best guys around you and learn from them or teach it. And then I did the same thing when I trained all these young landmen at Cinco. I was there 5 years and as their manager, and they were all trying to study for the RPL exam. And my office was just a circle of half-hour clinics telling these guys what this means and going through the book together. So, man, I'm all about small groups, and I do a small group Bible study on Wednesdays with 15 guys, and I do your Zoom. I try to put myself around the best people I can. So I think what you're doing is phenomenal, and it is an outreach, and I think this will just take off and fly for you, because if people would put their egos aside, this is exactly where they need to be. So I appreciate all of what you do, and I'll be involved in as much as I can. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Sharing that insight. Really, there is a lot of power in the small group and the focused, intentional collaboration that comes from groups like this. So we'll be doing another Mastermind webinar to talk more about the benefits and results of Mastermind groups coming up in a couple of days. So as your people hear this recording, connect with me on LinkedIn, and you have an opportunity to get on that call and ask your questions about Mastermind groups and talk to other people like Mark who've been engaged in our Mastermind groups and ask them questions about the results they've gotten from being involved. Thanks for participating. And for those of you who are listening after, thanks for listening and checking it out. And you can learn more about Mastermind groups at the website landmanmastermind.com.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.